3, 2, 1, 0.
Roger, the clock is operating. We're underway.
You're loud and clear.
Roger, we're programming and roll okay. A little bumpy along about here.
Roger. Stand by for 20 seconds.
Roger. We're smoothing out some now, getting out of the vibration area.
Roger, you feel max Q, flight path is...
Roger, feels good through max Q and smoothing out real fine. Cabin pressure coming down by 7, okay, flight very smooth now. Sky looking very dark outside.
All Roger, reading you loud and clear, 7, Cape is go, we're standing by for you.
Roger, Cape is go and I am go. Our capsule is in good shape. Fuel 103, 102, oxygen 78100, cabin pressure holding steady at 58, amps is 26. All systems are go, indicating 6Gs. Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around. Oh, that view is tremendous.
Roger, turnaround has started.
Roger, capsule turning around, and I could see the booster during turnaround just a couple of 100 yards behind me. It was beautiful.
Roger, 7, you have a go, at least 7 orbits.
Roger, understand go for at least 7 orbits. The Friendship 7 can see clear back a big cloud pattern way back across toward the Cape. We're all set. This is very comfortable at 0G. I have nothing but very fine feeling. It just feels very normal and very good. Have very little dirt floating around in the capsule, just a little bit. And preparing to take xylos still at present time. This Friendship 7, the head movements cause no sensations whatsoever. Feel fine. Reach test, I can hit directly to any spot that I want to hit. I have no problem reaching for knobs and have adjusted to 0G very easily, much easier than I really thought I would. I have excellent vision on the charts, no astigmatism or any malfunctions at all. I feel fine so far, over.
Roger, understand.
This is Friendship 7, have beautiful view of the African coast, both in the scope and out the window. Out the window is by far the best view. Part of the Canaries was hidden by clouds. Roger, how you doing, Gordo? We're doing real fine up here. Everything is going very well, over.
John, you sound good.
Roger, control fuel is 90100, oxygen is 75100, amps are 22. All systems are still go, having no problems at all. Control system operating fine, over. The only unusual thing I have noticed is a rather high, what it would appear to be a haze layer, up some 7 or 8 degrees above the horizon on the night side. The stars, I can see through it as they go down toward the real horizon, but it's a very visible signal band.
Beep boop, beep boop, 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 boop. What's going on, everybody? Let me turn down the tunes for a second. I am here with you guys for maybe 30 minutes to an hour, just hanging out. Just put my daughter down for a nap. We're actually going to go see Santa Claus today. My wife is on her way home, so this is going to be probably a much shorter stream than yesterday. Minato Namikaze came in with the first super chat of this stream, and he said, "Didn't you do 3 hours yesterday too?" Yes, I did not anticipate doing that long. I thought I would be there for 30 minutes to an hour last night. It turned into a 3-hour-long discussion, and for those of you who missed last night's stream, it's available live right now. You can go tune in. That was a fun one. That was a very long one. One of my longest streams ever. And I had a lot of fun. But yeah, Minato, thank you so much for the first super chat and channel support of the stream. I appreciate that, man. So, yeah, after sleeping, I still, I have a lot of videos kind of ready to write. I have like kind of the general idea of videos that I want to make for, in relation to the Rise of Skywalker. But so there's a lot coming down the pike whenever I get time, probably, leading into next week, just through the entire week, I'm going to try to get a video up every single day, talking about, certain things that I like, certain things that I didn't like about the movie. I'm a pretty mixed bag when it comes to this. Overall, the movie didn't really do much for me, as you guys know. If you watch my video, kind of tells you everything you need to know, but and the things that I didn't really enjoy aren't necessarily things that you might think I didn't enjoy, if that makes sense. I'll go into it more in depth, but whatever. Anyway, welcome, guys. Let's hang out for like 30 minutes to an hour and shoot the shit. Talk about Star Wars, or if you don't want to talk about Star Wars, we can talk about whatever you want, man. And if you hear some banging and clanging, that's because there's some houses being built around me. I don't know if you can actually hear it on the microphone, but yeah. Anyway, guys, welcome to the stream. Vince Wynn, thank you so much, man. It's good to see you, as always. This movie was like a cat. Some people love the hell out of cats. Some people hate cats. I'm allergic to cats. I'm not upset by it. I don't hate the thing. I just don't want anything to do with it. That's a fun little analogy there. Yeah, I love cats. I'm a cat person. I'm an animal person, but, I might be a little too lazy to have a dog. And that comes from a guy who has a kid. I want to take care of my kid. I don't have much of a desire to take care of a dog. Dogs are fun. Dogs are like boats, right? For me, at least. Dogs are like boats. It's fun when your friend has a dog. You get to go over and play with them. But I don't really want a dog. They're fun. I love them. But I'd rather have a cat that can clean its own ass. But Vince, I dig the analogy. That's a fun way to look at it for sure. And it's a bummer that you're allergic to cats. My buddy's allergic to cats. His parents always bought cats, and he was on pills his entire life because of the allergy to cats. It's just, what? All right. Don't get cats. But, all right, I appreciate that, Vince. And Carter Lovejoy, what theory of mine did you like? I think the one that I enjoyed a lot was just kind of the Spaceballs reference. I can't remember exactly verbatim what you said. It was something about Jar Jar being like somebody's sister's brother's cousins or whatnot. They all were very similar in silliness, right, Carter? Did any of them come true? You'll have to see the movie to find out. Did Carter's silly ass theories come true? You gotta go watch the movie. I don't know. But no, I like this. I think the Spaceballs one is the one that kind of stuck with me the most for whatever reason. But yeah, Carter, I appreciate that, man. Alu says Jar Jar should have been in the movie. Oh, why not? Throw him in there in a ship at the end. Maybe he was, right? Maybe we're going to get a lot of non-film material talking about everybody that was in that giant-ass space battle. We shall see. But yeah. And WTF Jack, thank you so much, man. Man, I love this music. What is it? Would love to know. Jack, I'm assuming that you're referencing the intro music. The intro music, so I'm going to type it into the chat, Jack. So, Audio Tool Day 2016 extract. If you Google that, WTF Jack, if you just copy paste that into Google, you'll find it. I use that I use that song basically for every single Lightspeed Lounge intro. And I love it. It's a good start to each stream. So there you go, man. And if you ever need to know, actually, does my...
And so it ends. I'm satisfied and content.
Oh, one sec.
See, the response is very mixed, but it's okay. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. Looking now to the horizon for new adventures in the galaxy far, far away. That's
the best attitude to have, Sapity. I appreciate that support this afternoon, rather. Give me one sec. Yeah, WTF Jack, I actually didn't realize until just now that I don't have a now playing thing on my countdown. I need to add that. I have a now playing thing at the tip top of the screen you're looking at now, but I need to add that to my my countdown for sure. But I appreciate that, man. Hope you have enjoy rocking out to it, or whatever you do to that kind of music. And Cab Coldblood, good to see you, man. To me, the film had great pacing, good intrigue, and the music was 100% on point, despite a problem here and there. Oh, one sec.
TLJ, it's all subjective, but Terry's nothing in TROS that I love. Like, I love the Luke/Yoda scene, the Holdo maneuver, and Luke's the Spark walk out to face the First Order.
A3, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support, man. Give me one sec. We're pretty much on the same page there. Cap Coldblood said, to me, the film had great pacing, good intrigue, and the music was 100% on point, despite a problem here and there. This one truly felt like Star Wars. Yeah, it had bits and pieces where I was kind of like pumping my fists for sure. I respectfully disagree with the pacing comment there, especially the first like third or maybe the first 45 minutes or so was just so. Well, give me one sec, guys. My wife's calling me. Give me one sec. BRB. I'll catch up. Give me like a minute. One sec, guys. All right, there we go. Got to make sure that everything's all right. She didn't realize I was streaming, but she has a super long commute now. She actually worked this Saturday, which is kind of rare. And horrible traffic on a Saturday. Go figure, right? I guess there's a big wreck or something. I don't know. But Cap Coldblood, yeah, the pacing for me was very just all over the place and very, very wonky. At a certain point, it started gearing up and it started kind of fitting together like a puzzle. And I started enjoying it more for sure. When it comes to intrigue, there's a lot that I did like about this movie. As I said in my video, the things that I really, really enjoyed were, whenever Ben and Ray were together. That was the stuff that really, really hit me. But overall, the movie just felt so convoluted and all over the place, and maybe that feeling will subdue after a second viewing. But as a movie, looking at it structurally, it was just I don't know, all over the place. Paint by numbers, Jackson Pollock painting, throw some stuff at the wall. But I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. That's that's what's great about Star Wars. Everybody's Star Wars is different. That was very, very obvious back in the day with the prequels. It is equally as obvious nowadays. It's just everybody's opinion is now in your face, right? You open up your Twitter, and everybody's just telling you what they didn't like or liked about the movie. And everybody's telling everybody else to stop being an asshole while being an asshole. I don't know. It's weird, man. Oh, one sec.
I'm not hyped. I'm not angry. I feel nothing. I did enjoy it. Movie was fine. But you shouldn't aim for fine when rewriting the ending to Star Wars. Movie was edited to hell.
Vince, thank you.
3 hours.
Vince, thank you so much, man. I greatly appreciate that. Give me a few seconds, guys. I appreciate all the super chats coming in. I'm a long-winded dude. Daniel Winbryce, thank you so much, man. As someone who really enjoyed TLJ, I feel The Rise of Skywalker makes it even better knowing certain things, but that's just my opinion. Oh, it makes TLJ even better. Maybe I look at it from a different perspective there. The Rise of Skywalker definitely made me appreciate The Last Jedi even more than I already did. The Last Jedi, you know, I found it to be probably the most interesting Star Wars movie in terms of just surprises and interesting ideas, twists and turns. That's what I want. That's what I want out of a movie. Not just Star Wars. That's what I want out of a movie. So in terms of like appreciating The Last Jedi more, it's because I didn't really care for The Rise of Skywalker and what it presented. Overall, you know, obviously there's stuff that I liked about it, but looking at The Rise of Skywalker with the kind of setup, or I don't know, the things that happen in The Last Jedi, certain things are fun for sure. There's obviously things that I think are just so goofy and fan fiction-y and nonsensical and unimaginative, which a lot of this movie felt to me. It felt like, you know, you scoop your hand into a bowl of fan fiction and you pull out a bunch of predictability and just kind of a lack of vision, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Daniel, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad you feel that way. It's kind of funny. So many different varying opinions here and there, different emotions. Everybody, like I almost haven't heard the same thing twice yet from people. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of interesting. Everybody is kind of like, there's some people that are sky high loving it. There's some people that are just down in the dirt, digging, can't stand it. And then there's everybody in between that is just kind of like, it was okay. And then it's just a bunch of different ideas and complaints or criticisms floating out into the void, right? It's interesting. But yeah, I appreciate that, Daniel. And Sapity, thank you so much once again, man. And so it ends. Am satisfied and content. See, the response is very mixed, but it's okay. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. Looking now to the horizon for new adventures in the galaxy far, far away. Yeah, you know, I'm going to be talking about this movie for a very long time, but I'm not going to be harping on it and kind of throwing consistent fits around. It was okay. Oh my God, is my daughter really waking up? All right, guys, hold off on the super chats and all that stuff because I think my daughter is waking up. Well, she just laid back down. We'll see. If you hear her crying on the baby monitor, I'll hop off. But Sapity, yeah, I mean, for me, it's Star Wars is always about looking to the horizon, right? Looking to the horizon for a new trilogy, looking to new stories, new characters, new fun adventures. And in terms of a franchise with just endless potential, Star Wars is at the tip top. There's so many new adventures to tell. There's so many places to visit and characters to explore that we don't know anything about. And I think, Sapity, whether you love the movie or didn't like the movie or somewhere in between, the healthiest attitude to have is that one. A forward thinking, gaze to the horizon and excitement for what's to come. You know, but Sapity, I appreciate it, man. I liked the ending. That's one of the few things that I really enjoyed at the end. I liked the conclusion. I thought it was pretty heartfelt. But yeah. And Edward Castonguay Foisey, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support, man. Do you care about Rey's yellow lightsaber? Do I care about it? I thought it was neat when I saw it on the screen. I care about it as much as I really care about everybody else's lightsaber, I suppose. It shows, I suppose, a character transition. It shows a level of maturity, a level of becoming. So in a way, it's kind of an object that kind of shows where Rey is at, what her character, her not even abilities, but where she's at with becoming a Jedi. And I think it certainly, I think that's what its intent was, more than just cool yellow lightsaber. It was more of a transition, if that makes sense. But yeah, it was made out of her staff, if I can remember correctly, right? I need to watch it again because that's one moment that I can't really picture that much in my head. But yeah, I appreciate that, man. And RTD Slayer, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Rey killing Palps undermines Anakin's prophecy, in my opinion. What I've said for the past 24 hours or so, well, I definitely don't think it does. It definitely doesn't kind of render Vader's redemption pointless or meaningless or whatnot. Vader's redemption is an internal struggle. It's to save his son. And not to mention, is Palpatine the real Palpatine here? Or is this a clone, as I say, a dollar store Palpatine? This is a clone? Is this, I don't know. I don't really see it that way. Not to mention the whole prophecy thing, the Chosen One, Anakin's prophecy has always been very convoluted to me. And perhaps the prophecy, I've always kind of liked the idea of the prophecy just being some kind of like hopeful Jedi thing that wasn't really true, but like a piece of folklore passed down from generation to generation. Someday the Savior is going to come and save us from the evil Sith, right? I've always kind of liked it as folklore more than just an actual legitimate real fairy tale prophecy. Does that make sense? So I've never really looked at any of these movies through the lens of prophecy, Chosen One, because hell, if you listen to quotes from Lucas, even through the prequel trilogy and behind the scenes stuff, a lot of that stuff is very, very convoluted, very, very convoluted, and it's more fun to me to look at it as folklore, and hope, than an actual tangible, realistic prophecy, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, I appreciate that art. I hope that made sense. Felt like that was just a bunch of word salad. My daughter's back to sleep, by the way. She popped up. Maybe she heard the construction workers banging next door, but they stopped, so hopefully they stay stopped. Yeah, and Vince Wynn, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support once again, man. I don't feel much of anything. I'm not hyped. I'm not angry. I feel nothing. I did enjoy it. Movie was fine. But you shouldn't aim for fine when rewriting the ending to Star Wars. Movie was edited to hell. Needed 3 hours. Yeah, it needed something. It's just like, as I said in my video, it didn't feel like a continuation. It didn't really feel like a sequel. It felt like a brand new thing. It felt like there were like just a bunch of ideas shoved into a movie, and just trying to tell more and more and more. You keep telling more, tell more. Try to fit all this in there. Try to fit it. So I'm kind of with you. I'm not hyped. I'm not angry. I think you could just kind of hit the nail on the head exactly with where I'm at right now when it comes to an emotional level with The Rise of Skywalker. I'm just kind of like, just kind of bobbing in the water. Just, it was okay. Not my cup of tea. It's kind of felt very fan fiction-y and unimaginative, but I guess people like it, and I guess that's what people want. And I'm just kind of bobbing in a life jacket, little motion of the ocean. I'm here. I'm not mad. I'm not hyped. I hope somebody comes and gets me out of this ocean. That's about where I'm at. Yeah. But Vince, I think we kind of see eye to eye for sure. For sure. 3 hours would have been a long time. I don't need 3 hours. You don't need 3 hours when you got focus, right? You don't need 3 hours when you have focus. Your story has a narrative focus. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Vince. And Falcon Fox, I think The Rise of Skywalker is the best of the sequel trilogy. Obviously everybody's opinion's going to be different. We can't say that enough. It's my least favorite of the sequel trilogy. The Force Awakens is, I for the most part, when it comes to franchises and trilogies and whatnot, I usually like the first movie or the first story of every single franchise, or trilogy. Back to the Future, even Lord of the Rings. Fellowship is my favorite Lord of the Rings movie. A New Hope is my favorite Star Wars movie. There's just a lot of examples of that. And for The Force Awakens, I love it for introductions. I love it for just the right amount of nostalgia while also introducing us to a new generation of heroes. The Last Jedi is actually my favorite sequel trilogy movie because I like the surprises. I like the inventiveness. I like how unique it was. It put a new spin on things. I liked it as a movie. I thought it was really well put together. I've said it a million times. The only real stuff that I dislike from it is a lot of the Canto Bight stuff. It feels out of place, and not necessarily out of place. That's not the right way to put it, but it just feels very, I don't know. It's not very exciting, and I think the movie would have done a lot better without it. But so yeah, The Rise of Skywalker is actually my least favorite. My least favorite. And, that could change after a second viewing, but I have a feeling it won't. Yeah, every Star Wars movie that I've watched of this modern generation, after multiple viewings, I like them more and more and more. The only exception to that is Rogue One. I've watched it maybe, 6 times since it came out. And with each viewing, I find myself more and more just kind of like meh about it. It's the one Star Wars movie of this modern generation that the more I watch it, the more disinterested I am in it, But yeah, Falcon Fox, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm very curious if... I'm going to run a Twitter poll after this stream. I'm going to run a Twitter poll after the stream and just kind of have three options. So keep an eye out for that. I kind of want to gauge what people are thinking. But I appreciate that, Fox. And Cap Coldblood, thank you so much once again, man. If people, myself included, can love Revenge of the Sith with its weird dialogue and rapid pacing, then I can love Rise of Skywalker, pot and kettle. That's a good attitude to have. I think, Cap, I think, we all, me included, I've been guilty of this as well, where, you kind of brush away the problems that you find or that are there when it comes to the movies that you grew up with, right? For me, and then you harp on the problems of the movies the newer movies. I've done that with the prequels compared to the original trilogy. I've seen a lot of people do that with the prequels and then with the sequel trilogy. So the attitude that you have is a good one to kind of embrace and embody. If you can love Revenge of the Sith with this weird dialogue and rapid pacing, then I can love Rise of Skywalker, pot and kettle. That's a good attitude to have. I like Revenge of the Sith more than The Rise of Skywalker. I like The Phantom Menace more than The Rise of Skywalker. But yeah, that's a healthy attitude, a positive attitude, and I don't know. That's not an asshole attitude to have for sure. But I appreciate that, Cap. And I'm glad you dig the movie. And A3, thank you so much as well. Wait, what does this say? Oh, I did like the elegant design of Leia's lightsaber. Yeah, I liked it a lot too. It had a lot of, I have to see it again, but picturing it in my head, it's very chrome and it's very, I could be completely misremembering it. I'm sure somebody's taken a picture, right? Somebody must have taken a picture. Probably. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Leia lightsaber. Huge image. Okay, here it is. Yep. Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, very kind of very overall shiny. It has like if the colors are correct here, it has a very almost like rose gold tint to it. I like it as well. I like the grip. I like it. It feels I really like it. I really like it a lot. And I like that entire kind of sequence of, Leia and the training thing with Luke. I found that really fun. And I liked the conclusion of these lightsabers as well, back at the Skywalker homestead and or the Lars homestead. I enjoyed that as well. So there's things that I liked about the movie, but now that I think about it, Rey's lightsaber, to turn it on was like a twist of the thumb, right? That was fun. It was kind of like a dial. I don't know. I enjoyed that. And it is. I'm looking at a picture. It is her staff. That's cool. But anyway, I appreciate that, A3. And Justin Chuka Session, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support, man. What upsets me the most is the fact that we never got to see Kylo as a supreme leader. He's doing Palpatine's bidding. I wanted to see him unhinged. That's honestly what I was looking forward to going into the movie. I knew that there would probably be some kind of redemption, some redeeming, I don't know, something, there with Ben. But I thought it would be more of a struggle for him. We didn't, like you said, didn't really see him unhinged. I found that, maybe I'm misremembering this, and maybe I need a second viewing, but I almost feel like we spent too much time with kind of the crew, with Finn and C-3PO and Rey and Poe. I wanted to spend more time with Kylo, what he was up to, and all that stuff, and maybe I'm misremembering it. Maybe there was a lot of time spent with Kylo before things got rolling. But I'm kind of with you, man. I wanted to see a little bit of unhinged supreme leader status of Kylo, what he was up to, and all that kind of stuff. And then being very, very torn near the end. But, it is what it is. As I said, it doesn't feel like a continuation. It doesn't feel like a sequel. It feels like a complete just right turn into another lane of oncoming traffic. But anyway, man, I appreciate that, Justin. And Fant Productions, thank you so much, man. This felt like JJ and Chris just went on Reddit and wrote what all the fans wanted and put it on screen. This was a fan film. Dude, that's exactly what I said when I came out of the theater with my buddies. I said, it felt like you put your hand in a bowl of fan fiction and pulled out just a bunch of predictable stuff that we've, that to me is very uninventive. Even the idea of the Emperor coming back, when that was first revealed at Celebration, my instant knee-jerk reaction was, what? Come on. No. That is so uninventive. Why? And then I subdued that a little bit, thinking, okay, let's reserve judgment until you see the movie. Because maybe it'll be a lot more subtle than you think. And then I spent, a year and a half going, I bet it'll be a lot more subtle than we all think. Maybe, I can't imagine Palpatine's going to be shooting Force lightning out of his fingertips. And what does he do? He shoots Force lightning out of his fingertips. I don't know. It was so, it just, uninventive. A part of me is like, okay, people got what they want, I guess. And then another part of me is like, the worst ideas. I mean, dude, fan fiction, it's what would you get if you looked at fan fiction? The Emperor's back, and he has 1,000 Super Star Destroyers, and they all have Death Star lasers on the bottom of them, and Rey is his granddaughter. It just felt so unimaginative, and without it having that Star Wars label, and without the relationship between Ben and Kylo, or Ben and Rey rather, dude, this would just be like a forgetful science fiction movie, to me at least. I don't know. Oh well. But I agree with you, man. It felt just like, I don't know. It's just pandering is a good word to use it. Good word to use, I think. Pandering.
Keep in mind,
but,
the
one sec.
grand majority of fans that saw the film liked it. We may have our gripes, but people love TROS. So be careful with what you say when in public. Have fair even criticisms, people.
Cap Coldblood, thank you so much, man. Give me one sec, guys. I'm a little long-winded here. Matthew Fernandez, thank you so much as well. I like the overall movie, and that's okay. Some people dislike this movie, and that's okay. I'm not a quote-unquote fake fan for... Oh, one sec.
Things with the PT, but those hold so much nostalgia for me. I'm a youngster, a prequel kid. Hope I can overlook this movie's problems too someday.
And you will, Vince. Absolutely. All the hard edges smooth out over time for sure. Give me one sec. Let's see. Matthew Fernandez, I like the overall movie, and that's okay. Some people dislike this movie, and that's okay. I'm not a quote-unquote fake fan for liking it, and they're not fake fans for disliking it. Anyway, have a good day. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the dumbest things that people do is I don't know, talk down to people that liked the movie or disliked the movie. If I ever come off as demeaning or anyway, like when I just had my word salad about fan fiction and coming, pandering and all that stuff, don't take it as, talking about people who liked the movie in a negative view. It's the movie itself. It didn't hit me, and this is things that I'm very just, I guess, overall disappointed with. So yeah, and the term fake fan is stupid. What it reminds me of, Matthew, is like when you're a kid and somebody has like skateboarding shoes and they're not the best skateboarder, and they say, "You're a poser." Okay, you idiot. You're a 35-year-old dude on YouTube on the internet, and you calling people fake fans. Shut up, you dummy. You big dumb idiot. And it's like when somebody likes a punk rock band and all of a sudden another person starts liking a punk rock band's new album. Yeah, I listened to their stuff before. Shut up, you big dumb idiot. You're a 40-year-old guy on YouTube. Shut up. Stop talking about fake fans, you stupid dummy. Stupid dummy. Hashtag stupid dummy. But anyway, Matthew, I appreciate that, man. We need more of that for sure. And Fant Productions, thank you so much as well. And now Ray and Kylo are Space Romeo and Juliet. I actually didn't mind that, man. I found it, maybe it felt a little rushed and a little out of place. The connection there, though, and what I found, one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie, Fant, was when Rey is in front of Palpatine. She has the lightsaber lit and it's glowing, off of her cheek. The blue is glowing, and she realizes that Ben is there. And there's a look on her face that is just so hopeful that it's not all lost. And then there's that Force connection, and she passes the saber through the Force connection. I loved that moment. I thought it was fantastic. So that entire ending hit me in the right spot. I liked it. I guess I get why people were upset about it, I suppose. But for me, it worked for me. It did work for me. But yeah, maybe, yeah, I don't know. It worked for me for the most part, but yeah. And Daniel Winbryce, thank you so much as well. Each trilogy really is a generational thing. As the older fans grow up, they won't remember all the arguments like the prequels fans did. Yeah, I've been saying that on this channel for years, Daniel. Star Wars is a generational thing. When I was, The Phantom Menace came out when I was 13. And I remember being on forums in the early 2000s. I remember going into Titan Comics. I remember going into a bunch of comic book shops and hearing people complain about the prequels. And it was just nonstop, like, Star Wars slaughter. And then what happened? 5 years ago, 6 years ago or so, there was an entire generation of prequel fans who grew up and got on the internet, started having a voice and defending what they loved. And it's been fun to see. So it's just kind of funny to kind of relive this history, but with a different chunk of films. You know what I mean? And I'm sure in 10 years, we'll have it'll be a cycle again. But yeah, for sure, a generational thing. The Star Wars that you grew up with is not going to feel like the new Star Wars. Whether it be because it's different, or because you are different, or because the world is different. You know what I mean? Franchises ebb, movies change, things flow, and sometimes, that spark just isn't there for you anymore. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Tidy Wire, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Palp lost harder than anyone, expecting his granddaughter to take his place. You feeling bad for Palp? To take his place, only for her to disown him and then take the family name of his former slave. Okay, we're getting a little sad for Palpy here. Yeah, I mean, Palp. I do like. I do not like the idea of her being a Palpatine. It feels so goofy to me and ham-fisted and forced. But I guess there is a lesson there, and it's a lesson that we've known and heard in Star Wars before. You know, just because you're related to maybe, I don't know, evil, doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to be as well. What is the timeline? So, I'm going to have to look at the timeline, like... One of the biggest questions, though, that I've heard a few people ask is, who were Rey's parents, though? Like, Palpatine had a kid? Okay. All right. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I even liked the ending of that, you know, Rey Skywalker. I thought that was touching. I liked it. It's kind of something that a lot of us have predicted for a while. Not necessarily that it would end like that and her saying Rey Skywalker, but Skywalker becoming, you know, a more than just a name. I suppose now it is a little bit more than a name. It's an ideal, you know, to strive for. But yeah. Anyway, Tidy, I appreciate that, man. In Cab Coldblood, keep in mind the grand majority of fans that saw the film liked it. We may have our gripes, but people love The Rise of Skywalker, so be careful what you say when in public. Have fair, even criticisms, people. Yeah, it's all about level-headed. Do you think the majority of fans who saw the film liked it? You know, I take Rotten Tomatoes fan scores with a giant heaping grain of salt, because it's very hard to gauge. I mean, nobody that I know... Do any of you guys ever vote on Rotten Tomatoes? It seems like it's always just... I don't know. It's weird. And that's really the only thing that I have to go by. The people that I saw the movie with, they were pretty iffy about it. A few of them really liked it. Yeah, you know, I was definitely the most negative out of the crew, and I think that's just because... hey, Star Wars YouTube channel, and that's I look at things through maybe a too critical lens at times, but yeah, it's all about being level-headed. Even it has nothing to do with criticism, really. It's just about you know, not slinging mud on Twitter. That's really what it is, or even in public. I've found that every conversation that I've ever had about Star Wars in public is super nice, and even if you vehemently disagree with one another, it's still a cool conversation. And then things get lost in like text translation on Twitter, you know, and somebody might not necessarily be trying to be an asshole. They might come off as an asshole via text on Twitter. It's very hard to communicate intent, and I don't know, even sarcasm but yeah, anyway, I appreciate that, Cap. And Vince Went, thank you so much once again. I overlooked many things with the PT, but those hold so much nostalgia for me. I'm a youngster, a prequel kid. Hope I can overlook this movie's problems too someday. I think you will. Not necessarily overlook them, but I've found that even with the prequels and me, the edges that, you know, were there from the beginning, over time they round out, and you don't harp on them too much. You kind of, you know, over time you just kind of begin to accept the structure and the what comes, and you don't really harbor those, at least for me, you don't really harbor those just kind of like knee-jerk reactions or just over the top hole poking, I suppose, but yeah, nostalgia is a big important phrase there, Vince. It's, as I've said, we the movies that we grew up with, we overlook a lot of the goofiness, the coincidences, the nonsense, that are in there. We overlook them because, you know, you grow up with it, and it is a part of you, and you embrace it. I was talking to my buddy the other day, and he texted me. He was watching The Last Jedi. He was complaining about... What was he complaining about? I can't remember. It might have been the bombing sequence and something like that. Just, you know, he was texting me stuff that I've heard people complain about online. And I texted him back. I was like, and I told him this in person at the old ale house. I was like, dude, like, imagine being 10 years old, growing up, watching that bombing scene. You have your fist pump. You're, fuck yeah, that scene was awesome. You're 10 years old. You're pumping your fist. You are loving it. You're loving it. And you would have loved it as a kid, but now that you're older, you just looking at all the things that aren't like realistic about it, or all the holes that you can poke in it. That complaining about that kind of stuff, and then letting stuff go from the movies that you love, is a little telling to me, where people's brains are at when it comes to certain things in Star Wars. But you know. There are kids nowadays that watch that stuff, and they love it. They're not watching YouTube videos trying to poke holes in every single goddamn thing. They're pumping their fist, and they're watching some bombers destroy a giant-ass ship, and they're eating popcorn, and they're loving it. But yeah, anyway. I appreciate that, man. And Subterrell Prospector. Hey, HG, I dug The Rise of Skywalker. TLJ is still my favorite of the trilogy. The film was messy but fun. Apparently, it was Mustafar at the beginning, which makes me happy. Yeah, oh, now my daughter, I think, is waking up. Hold off on the super chats, guys. But Subterrell. I didn't realize that. Nobody realized that in the theater. It would have been kind of nice to know in the movie, I suppose. Or maybe not. Maybe not. Not everything needs to be explained, I suppose. In the visual dictionary, though, we find out that Kylo was on Mustafar, Vader's castle, and getting the Sith the Sith Wayfinder. That was not known or told in the movie itself, but the visual dictionary flat out said that, which is kind of interesting. It's a fun little tie-in, I think, you know. And that would have been fun to see a little bit more of, right, in my opinion. Going to Vader's castle. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that could have been cut or reduced for a little bit of that. How cool would it have been to see Kylo in Vader's castle on Mustafar, exploring it, finding it, more than what we did see. It felt so quick. That moment felt so quick. It would have been really neat to be able to see Kylo go in there and soak it in and you know, follow him around. But hey, oh well. Yeah, TLJ is my favorite of the trilogy too. And as I've said, you know, The Rise of Skywalker made me appreciate the Last Jedi even more than I already did. I agree, it was too edited down. Yeah, for sure, it felt so herky jerky, and it would have been cool for that to be a little, I don't know, a little more expanded on. But anyway, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad you really enjoyed the movie. I'm glad you enjoy it. And Efriot, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I still have to process the mess of a movie, but was really enjoying the John Williams cameo. Blink and you miss it. The score was fantastic, by the way. John Williams cameo? What? I'm looking it up. Nobody has a picture of it? Nobody took a picture. Oh, wait, here it is. John Williams cameo in The Rise of Skywalker. When was this? Where was this? Video unavailable. Okay. There's a screenshot, though. Interesting. Where was that? Bartender in one scene. Really? That's cool. I didn't realize that until just now. That's really awesome. One sec.
To your channel for a few years. Really like your view on all things Star. Have now seen all 9 movies in original theatrical release. TROS was a satisfying end for me, but I admit it is far from perfect.
Chris Ray, thank you so much for the generous super chat and channel support this afternoon. Give me one sec, man. Give me one sec. I'm a little long-winded. I got a few other super chats here. But I appreciate that, man. Give me one sec. Efria, I didn't realize that John Williams had a cameo in the movie. That's pretty awesome. I'll have to keep an eye out. So before they meet Babu Frick and Kijimi, I'll have to just about 5 seconds of him, kind of like Anthony Daniels in Attack of the Clones. Interesting. I did not realize that. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's a lot to process for sure. The score was fun. And dude, I can't get over a John Williams cameo. I'm going to have to find somebody. I'm going to have to see if there's a clip, because the clip that I just tried to watch is down. It got taken down. But anyway, I appreciate that, man. And that actor guy, thank you so much as well. I feel as if I'm the odd man out for enjoying all three. No, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that I see that actor guy. It's kind of interesting that you feel that way, because when I was making my video, I saw the Rise of Skywalker, got out of the theater, came home. I wrote a little bit in a notepad file, just some general thoughts, and then went to sleep. Woke up the next morning, made the video, scheduled it to upload. And in that entire chunk of time, I did not scroll through Twitter to look at people's, people's opinions. I did not read any reviews. I did not watch any review videos. I did not know anybody else's opinion of the movie. I didn't look at any of my comments. I didn't look at anything. So when I love doing that. That's what I like to do. So when I made my video, I specifically said I feel like I'm going to be the minority opinion when it comes to not really caring for the movie. And it turns out, that's not necessarily true. It's for the people that I've interacted with. It seems to, well, I would say it's not 50-50. I think the majority of people, did enjoy it. But I'm definitely not that deep in the minority opinion as I thought I would. So, I don't think you're the odd man out. I think there's probably a lot of people that enjoy all three as well. So don't feel like the odd man out. If there's something for you in all three movies and you enjoy the entire puzzle coming together, that's awesome. And consider yourself lucky to be super happy with everything you got. But I appreciate that actor guy. And Detta Leader, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Big fan here. Keep being great. Love your work. Well, thank you so much for the channel support this afternoon, man. I appreciate that. I like just a little jab of, hey, attaboy, keep making fun videos. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for tuning in. It means the world. And thank you for supporting the channel this afternoon. And Nathan Pelka, does Chewbacca finally getting his medal make up for McClunky? No, did a lot of people like that? I thought it was a nice little nod for sure. It felt a little, I don't know. I guess it was all right. I've never had an issue with the whole medal thing. It just felt like it always felt like just an overlooked thing in A New Hope for whatever reason to me, and it never upset me. It doesn't make up for McClunky though. Absolutely not, Nathan, because McClunky is a negative change to a movie that should not have been changed. McClunky is yet another change that I don't know, just unnecessary. Tinkering with a movie that everybody loves. Chewbacca finally getting the medal is a nice little nod, I suppose. Was it Han's medal? Was it Han's medal? It wasn't his own medal. Was it Han's medal though? I think it was, right? Didn't he receive a medal in a comic? I don't know. Probably, right? I'm sure there's legend stuff where but yeah. Oh, yeah, no, it's definitely on the nose, Vince. It definitely was on the nose for sure. Very meta. Absolutely. But no, nothing new makes up for McClunky, Nathan. Don't change it. Don't change it. And Deadly Llama, thank you so much as well. Good to see you, man. I like the movie way more on the second viewing, but I think that Ray and Ben should have killed him together. My wife actually said the exact same thing. She said what was missing for her was that kind of that coming together, that teaming up, which, you know, the story didn't want to go that way, which I guess we gotta, you know, we all want different things and wanted to see more of this and that, or less of this and that. But in a way, I definitely agree with her in terms of being satisfied with hold on one sec. Give me one sec, guys. My wife, we're hosting Christmas this year. So my wife, I'm going to call her real quick. She's trying to figure out what to buy. She's making a, what's it called? A prime, not prime rib. Yeah, prime rib. Give me one sec, guys. Give me one sec. I'll finish that thought in a second. Let me put the old BRB thing up. Alright, cool. Prime rib. Alright, where was I? Let me turn up my volume in my headset. Where was I? Oh, yeah, Deadly Llama. I'm very curious how I'll feel after a second viewing, you know? I'm sure, you know, as I've said, every new Star Wars movie of this generation, I've liked more with multiple viewings. You got The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Solo. I like them more with subsequent viewings. The only exception to that is Rogue One. The more I watch it, the less I like it. And I'm very curious how The Rise of Skywalker will play in my brain after a second viewing. You know, thinking about it right now, I think it'll just be the same kind of meh feeling, but you never know. I've heard a lot of people like it after a second viewing. Usually how it goes, but anyway. I appreciate that, Llama. And Vince Wynn, I got really choked up in the Han scene when Ben goes, Dad. It really got to me. I don't see why Ben had to die. I get it, sacrifice, but don't think he needed to die. Also, yeah, Palpy got busy. Yeah, it's weird, right, to think about? No, that was one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie. When Han, the Han and Ben sequence. Ben was, I'm assuming that was a little part of Leia, right? Leia at that time had already, now she was sacrificing herself for her son. And that memory was replaying in Ben's mind. And I loved that sequence because it's almost it's almost like a regretful memory, right? He's replaying the memory in his head, almost beat for beat with what happened in The Force Awakens. It was a fun nod. It was a fun memory retelling, and a second chance to do it over again, right? I loved that moment. It was very, very touching. And I thought it was fantastic. But the fact that Ben, the fact that he died to sacrificing himself, that didn't bother me. That didn't bother me at all. Just a family of sacrifice, I suppose. I really don't know. That didn't bother me whatsoever. But it is weird to think of Palpy getting busy. I'm sure we're going to have a bunch of non-film material where Palpatine had a wife and kids and a bunch of stuff and celebrated Life Day and was a great dad. But yeah, anyway, Vince, I appreciate that, man. I love that scene as well. Absolutely. And Alex Skywalker, I think the overall difference is the fact that Papa George wasn't included. Like that statement or not, his influence is more important than most think. Would I have liked more George Lucas influence, Alex? Sure. Yeah, I mean, George Lucas, with the prequels, like him or not, there is a sense of people always talk about, oh, no, you don't like fan service, whatever will we do? Yeah, okay, well, George Lucas didn't really care for fan service either. He's even said that kind of stuff when talking about this generation of Star Wars. He literally said that The Force Awakens was just, giving the fans what they wanted, and he would have done something different. And if you want to talk about, like, not giving fan service, all you got to do is look at the prequels and the reaction to the prequels back in the day. People were saying, what? This isn't what we wanted? George, how could you? But even then, there was this sense of uniqueness.
It's weird.
One sec.
I find my gripes about the TROS similar to that of people's for TLJ. I liked the movie, but I think if Rey wasn't a Palpatine, the movie would have ended the same. It'll need a second viewing.
Andrew Lamb, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support, man. Give me one sec. But Alex, despite, all that kind of stuff, I do appreciate the prequels and his vision and his continued, like, just giving, not really, I mean, I don't know, just doing new stuff, new spin on things, right? So maybe in terms of the creativity department, it would have been fun to have his involvement there. I don't know necessarily about story and narrative, but there is a certain creative spark that I do believe not necessarily lost, but would have been nice to have, right? But anyway, Alex, I appreciate that, man. And A3, thank you so much. Hey, H, just curious if my super chat got through. Yeah, which one? The Leia's lightsaber? Yep, yeah, I absolutely talked about that, man. I even looked up, I don't know if you missed it, I even looked it up and saw somebody took a picture of it and posted it on Twitter. But yeah, it got through. When I saw your super chat just now, I thought you were talking about South Carolina. But I appreciate that, A3. Maybe you have to rewind a little bit. And Michael Schwartz, thank you so much for the super chat. Let me take a quick sip. Michael Schwartz, would have been cool to see Ben Solo show up as a Force ghost at the end with Luke and Leia after his redemption, like Anakin at the end of Return of the Jedi. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. I like that idea as well. I'm sure there's no question in my mind, Michael, that was discussed, No question in my mind that was discussed. Why didn't they do it? I don't know. Maybe it was more of a decision to put some closure to Luke and Leia's story. I don't know. That's a really... I honestly would have liked to see that too. I wonder why it wasn't done. I mean, you can't have... I think even if we had a bunch of Force Ghosts come out, if we had Yoda and Mace Windu and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and Ben and I don't know, Anakin and just everybody, all these Force Ghosts in there. To tell you the truth, maybe people would have loved it, but I would have just been like, that's too much. Though the subtlety of like Luke and Leia at the Lars homestead, and then we end on the twin sons. I thought that was great. I really enjoyed that moment of closure. But there's no question in my mind, Michael, that the idea of Ben Solo being there at the end as a Force ghost was discussed. There's no way it wasn't discussed, right? But yeah, anyway, Michael, I appreciate that, man. I'm sure a lot of people probably feel that way. I hadn't really thought about that until just now, but... and Chris Rea, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Hey, been a sub to your channel for a few years. Really like your view on all things Star Wars. I have now seen all 9 movies in the original... original theatrical release. The Rise of Skywalker was satisfying end for me, but I admit it is far from perfect. Well, first of all, thank you for the extremely generous super chat this afternoon, man. I found a lot of it to be a satisfying conclusion. With Rey and Ben, I liked their story. I found the very, very end with Luke and Leia, that moment to be satisfying. I found that a lot of, tying up loose ends and the ending of the movie I thought was a good ending to the saga. The very last chunk, I found it to be satisfying. The ride getting there, though, was very ham-fisted and unimaginative to me. But in terms of closing up the saga, yeah, the last chunk I think did a good job. Like I said, the journey was a little wonky to me, especially with Palpatine. I don't get it. I mean, I don't know. As I said earlier, it felt like you stuck your hand in a bag of fan fiction and pulled out just a bunch of stuff, As somebody said earlier, it felt like, Chris and JJ just went on Reddit and just read a bunch of people's unimaginative shit and picked and chose what they wanted to put in this movie. But yeah. Anyway, Chris, I appreciate you tuning in all these years, man, and I appreciate the kind words. It's for whatever reason, Chris, it's weird for me to think about people watching my stuff for so long. But because, and the reason it feels weird to me is because, I've watched channels for so long too. And to be a channel that people have watched for so long, it's just such a weird feeling because I've been watching Cinemassacre forever, right? Angry Video Game Nerd. I've been watching Red Letter Media forever. Chris Stuckman forever. And to know that people have been watching this old silly-ass Stormtrooper talk about Star Wars for 8 years is a cool feeling for sure. It's a cool feeling. But I appreciate you supporting the channel this afternoon, man. And Nathan Pelka, thank you so much as well. Does Chewie getting a medal... Oh, I already... Wait, did somebody ask the same exact question? Or did I... Weird. I hope... It must have... I'm sure it didn't charge you, right? Unless you accidentally sent it twice. But yeah, no, it doesn't. Nothing makes up for McClunky, Nathan. And if you missed my response to that, rewind like 15 minutes or so. But yeah, I appreciate that, man. Let me turn the music down a little bit. It seems like it's peaking a little too loud. There we go. And Takes to Know Games. Thank you so much, man. I like how JJ kept following the save what you love to me. Like when they save Chewie from the destroyer or when Kylo saves Rey at the end. Yeah, it was definitely a very hopeful movie in that sense, right? Helping your friends, helping those who helped you, helping your, family. To me, sure, you have your blood family, but family is also friendship, right? You have friends that are as equal to family as your family is to family. And there was definitely a sense of that in this movie. Saving what you love, for sure. So, I think that's not necessarily just, JJ kept following the Save What You Love thing from the line that you're referencing from TLJ. That is ooh, that's loud. God damn, that's loud. I need to turn that down. That Save What You Love is kind of a message of a lot of Star Wars, right? You look at even the original trilogy. Yoda kind of fights against Luke going to try to save his friends. He said he's not ready, but he can't. Luke can't sit by and watch his friends die, and he needs to go help his friends, and he rushes, and I think that's the message of a lot of Star Wars, but yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Chris Rea, thank you so much for becoming the latest member of the fleet. Welcome to the fleet, man. If everybody could do me a big favor, and do me and say welcome to the fleet, Chris, I would greatly appreciate that. Chris, thank you so much for supporting the channel on a monthly basis. I don't know if you know this, but I do supporter Q&As once a month. I actually haven't done the December's Q&A yet because we moved in early December. We moved into our new house. I got internet turned on about a week ago, and I just haven't had time to sit down and do it. I'm probably going to combine the December Q&A for anybody that's interested into the December or the January as well. It's going to be a longer Q&A, so I apologize for that. So yeah, Chris, monthly supporter Q&As. I usually do them the first Monday of every month around 7:30 p.m. And I also you get a special role in the HelloGreedo Discord server if you link your Discord account with your YouTube account. So, Chris, welcome to the fleet, man. I appreciate the hell out of it. And if everybody in the chat could do me a favor, say welcome to the fleet, Chris. I'd appreciate that. Welcome to the fleet, man. And Cakes Warden, thank you so much for supporting the channel this evening or this afternoon. I keep saying this evening because I did a 3-hour stream last night, and I said this evening a lot. Cakes Warden, where does The Rise of Skywalker fall in your ranking list? I liked it more on my second viewing, but it's probably in my bottom 5. So, my ranking is as follows, Cake. Ready? Let me take a quick sip. My ranking is as follows. Ready, Cakes? A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. No surprise there. HelloGreedo, the original trilogy fanboy asshole. So A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Then you got The Last Jedi. Then you got The Force Awakens. Then you got The Phantom Menace. Then you got Revenge of the Sith. Then you got The Rise of Skywalker. Then you got Solo. Then you got Rogue One. Then you got Attack of the Clones. That is my... You want me to run through it again? A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. The Last Jedi. The Force Awakens. The Phantom Menace. Revenge of the Sith. The Rise of Skywalker, Solo, Rogue One, and Attack of the Clones. That is my list. So yeah, I appreciate that, Cakes. I'll probably do a ranking video sometime this week, so you'll hear me say that a lot in the next few days. So I appreciate that, man. And Stephen W. Fathery, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I've seen it twice now and still really dislike it. Yeah, that's kind of my big worry. Is that this is not going to be a case of me watching it again and it growing on me. And the only other Star Wars movie that's been the case for in this modern Star Wars chunk of movies is Rogue One. Just a lot of the ideas, Steven, in The Rise of Skywalker are so unimaginative and predictable and pandering that I don't think a second viewing... Although I'm going to watch the movie a bunch more, I don't think a second viewing will make me like it more. Maybe I will kind of ignore some of the things that I didn't like about it more. That's probably going to be the case, but I don't think overall I'm going to like the movie more on a second viewing, which bums me out. But yeah, Steven. And it's a bummer to hear that from you as well, It's just kind of, man. Yeah, just as a movie, even structurally, as a Star Wars movie, it's just not, doesn't push anything new. There's nothing really unique about it. It's just kind of a mixed bag for me. Pretty 50-50 split, but yeah. Anyway, man, I guess better luck next time. Maybe after a third viewing. It's a movie you got to watch 3 times. 3 times to really like it. But yeah, Steven, I appreciate that, man. And Andrew Lamb, thank you so much as well for the super chat and channel support. It's weird. I find my gripes about the Rise of Skywalker similar to that of people's for TLJ. I like the movie, but I think if Rey wasn't a Palpatine, the movie would have ended the same. I'll need a second viewing. Yeah, no, I agree. If they never said that Rey was a Palpatine, the movie could have ended the same. Did Rey being a Palpatine, did that like improve anybody's viewing? To me, it didn't. It made me go, ugh, like what? Why? It really changed nothing. It felt so forced and ham-fisted and goofy to me. And it took away from Rey's character. What I found interesting about Rey's character, what I've always found interesting about Rey's character, is that the requirement of bloodline and lineage is not necessarily all that you need. Somebody can rise from nothing. Somebody from nowhere, somebody from nothing, somebody of nothing can rise to become something. Greatness isn't necessarily given. Greatness can be earned, right? That is an interesting character and something unique in Star Wars and the saga films. And I found that to be interesting. Just some kind, like it's almost like Rey being a Palpatine is a throwaway line to me. Like, oh, you're a Palpatine. Cool, neato, sweet. Oh, neato, bandito. It was just what? Come on, man. It felt so goofy to me. To the point, like, I get it. We all like different stuff in Star Wars. We all appreciate different things. But to the point where I sit back and I go, man, how can anybody really enjoy that? I don't know. It's weird. But it explains her powers. Okay. I did whatever. I don't look at Star Wars like, I don't know. It's weird, man. Anyway. She's a Palpatine now, I guess. But we all have our headcanon, right? So, anyway, I appreciate that, Andrew. And, you're right. I'll need a second viewing as well. But I think you're right. It would have been the same ending for sure. And Vince Wynn, once again, thank you so much, man. In case we don't see you, you and the family have a nice Christmas. Right back at you, man. Thank you so much for the support this afternoon. Oh, one sec.
I have a trilogy to call my own. As a kid, I clung to TCW film as my SW movie, and now I have an entire trilogy that is mine. I can brag to my kids nice. I saw in theaters.
Hell yeah, Caleb. Give me one sec, man. All right, guys.
RJ actually said that catering to the fans was a mistake and he got shit for that. But I think there is a balance. Hiring 2 directors with vastly different types of movie making didn't pay off.
Sure, yeah. Deadly Llama and Caleb Kim, thank you so much, guys. All right, I'm going to have to hop off after these couple. My wife is buying everything for our family Christmas party, and I'm going to go have to help her in like 15 minutes. So, I appreciate all the support, guys. Vince Wynn, I hope you guys have a fantastic Christmas as well. Thank you so much for the well wishes. Support this afternoon and this entire month, man. Thank you so much for all the kind words and the words of encouragement. And Caleb Kemp, once again, thank you so much for the super chat, channel support. Deadly Llama, did that, oops. What happened with the music? Oh, there we go. Deadly Llama, did yours not come through? I don't see I see your super chat. Weird. It's not on the YouTube chat. That's very strange. I'm confused. Huh. Caleb Kemp, one thing I'm so happy for, I have a trilogy to call my own. As a kid, I clung to the Clone Wars film as my Star Wars movie, and now I have an entire trilogy that is mine. I can brag to my kids I saw it in the theaters. Yeah, and hopefully in the future, you can take your kids to see Star Wars in the theater, right? That's a fun feeling. Seeing every single Star Wars movie in a trilogy in the theater. I did it with the prequels. I did it with this. I saw some of the special edition re-releases in the theater in the 90s. And it's a feeling like no other. Seeing a Star Wars movie in the theater, it feels more like an experience than just going to see a movie, right? It feels like an event. Yeah, it's fun as hell, man. So it's kind of a cool way to look at it. My Star Wars movie, my Star Wars trilogy, the one that you saw in the theater, for all three. It's kind of a fun way to look at it for sure. But I appreciate that, Caleb. And the Deadly Llama. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. It derped. I have no idea. But RJ actually said that catering to the fans was a mistake, and he got shit for that. But I think there is a balance. Hiring 2 directors with vastly different types of movie making didn't pay off enough. Yeah, in terms of, I guess, the types of movies that I would prefer, I would prefer, well, just judging by what we've got in these 3 movies, I definitely prefer Rian Johnson's style more than JJ's. It's different. It's interesting. There's unique spins. There's unique surprises. It's not completely just, I don't know, I don't know, man. Rise of Skywalker just felt, I feel like I'm a pull cord now. I'm just repeating myself. But, yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny leading into The Last Jedi, Deadly Llama, and so seeing some of the behind-the-scenes stuff and reading some of the Rian Johnson quotes. It is so interesting how the things that I've said on this channel for years, leading into The Last Jedi even, were so on par with a lot of his thoughts as well, you know? And it's interesting, like, I don't understand... catering to fans. Okay, great. You just want more of the same? That's boring. Imagine. I mean, shit, you wouldn't have the prequels if all George Lucas did was cater to fans. You would not have the prequel movies. You would have more Return of the Jedi, right? If George Lucas catered to fans. If you catered to fans, you wouldn't have The Empire Strikes Back. The Empire Strikes Back is just a surprising downer, but it's awesome. So, catering to fans. Well, you don't want the fans to be happy? Shut up. That's not what I mean. Stop it. Dummies. That's not what I mean. But catering to fans in terms of just like the most basic, pandering, like baseline, uneventful, uninventive. I don't know. It's weird, man. It's very, very interesting to me what people want compared to what other people want, right? In Star Wars, I want it to push boundaries. I want it to be different. I want it to take risks. But it seems like a lot of people, and I've been guilty of this, just want nostalgia, more of the same, which is fine. We all like different things, right? But for me, I would take A Last Jedi over The Rise of Skywalker in terms of a type of movie any day. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Caleb Kemp, once again, before I hop off, Stephen W. Fathery, Rich W3, thanks guys. Caleb Kemp says, maybe mixed on this latest film, but overall still super happy with these past 5 years. I love Star Wars. Yeah, I mean, this is the first time with the sequel trilogy that I've just been kind of like, not super happy, not super mad. I'm not ever going to be mad, but not super like disappointed. Just kind of like middle of the road, a shrug of the shoulders. Just kind of like, it exists, it's there, it exists. Well, yeah, what can you do? But yeah, it's been a fun ride, man. It's been a very fun ride. It honestly, The Rise of Skywalker makes me want to watch The Last Jedi more. Oh yeah. And Stephen W. Fathery, if you had to make an episode 10 in 30 years to kick off a new trilogy set 30 years after The Rise of Skywalker, what would you do? What would you like to see? Oh my God, I have no idea. What would be really fun, Stephen, and something completely different? Because what's the predictable thing, right? The predictable thing is that Rey trains a new generation of Jedi. Neato, everything repeats itself. Cool, we got a bunch of Jedi and it's back to square one. It would be kind of neat if like everything that Rey did, everything that the Resistance, everything that everybody did was just kind of lost in time, if that makes sense, right? Like it's just kind of like a forgotten thing. And you're kind of starting from square one where nobody really knows the history of things. Nobody really knew that it's folklore, right? It's folklore. Kind of like at the beginning of The Force Awakens when I thought he was a myth and all that kind of stuff. Then nobody really knows. Some people do, but people on the outskirts, people not in the know. It's like real life. Not everybody knows everything about military action. Not everybody knows things about history, far off lands around the globe. It would be kind of fun to follow people that don't know shit about shit. I don't know. Does that make sense? I don't know. I have no idea. Steven. But I have no idea. The boring idea would be Rey is training a new generation of Jedi, and episode 10 would have a bunch of Jedi, right? That's the boring, put your hand in a bag of fan fiction and you pull that out, right? And that's probably what it'll probably be, right? Anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Rich W3, thank you so much. Share your general sentiment on The Rise of Skywalker. Excited to see one of your How Fans Reacted Now videos in 5 to 10 years. Opinions seem to evolve over time. Absolutely they do. Rich W3, my general sentiment of The Rise of Skywalker. Well, if you want a more broad kind of 8-minute long video, watch my video that I uploaded yesterday. But I thought, it was pretty just uninventive, unimaginative. There's a lot of things that I liked about it. The things that I really liked about it were Rey and Ben's relationship. I found that pretty satisfying. That's the stuff that kept me engaged. Overall, the idea of Rey being a Palpatine seems so forced and ham-fisted and goofy to me. A lot of The Rise of Skywalker felt like, and I've said this a few times now, but you dunked your hand into a bag of fan fiction and you pulled out a few ideas that were just so like, just obvious and just fan appeasement-y, and just it does nothing to me. It felt very I don't know, it felt very pandering and felt very uninventive and unimaginative, if that makes sense. But yeah, why can't we imagine? What are you talking about? Can't we imagine? When did I ever say that? It's stupid, man. Don't put words in my mouth. That's dumb stuff. But I appreciate that, Rich W3. Thank you so much for the support this afternoon. And Vince Wynn, cheers to you. Happy #1 fan pair. I hope you and yours have a fantastic Christmas, man. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Eat a whole bunch. Stay safe. Enjoy a few days off if you get it. And lounge. But Vince, thank you so much for the support this afternoon, last night, and this entire month, man. So, dancing pair right back at you. All right, guys, I got to go help my wife with the groceries. She is heading home with a bunch of stuff for Christmas. It is time to hop off, take my daughter to Santa when she wakes up. What do you want for Christmas? Toys? What kind of toy do you want? Hat? Okay. I'm sure Santa will bring you a hat. That's what she wants, a hat. So, all right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate everybody that supported the channel this afternoon. Chris Ray, thank you so much for becoming a member of the fleet. No stream tonight. Maybe no stream tomorrow. We shall see. But I appreciate everybody hanging out with me for about an hour and a half this afternoon. So, until next time, have fun, be nice, enjoy yourself, tell people what you thought of the movie, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Let's play a different song, all right? Let's find it. Cool, Ice Cream. Cool, that's what this song's called. All right, everybody, enjoy your weekend. I'll catch you on the flip side. See ya!